Good morning, sir.
Good morning, and a special good morning to all of you on the West Coast. I mean, you must have started in the middle of the night, so it's great to see you all. Terrific. Judy, thank you. Francis, good to see you again. And Paul, as always, I think we met, as you said, in the last century, so you're really dating us.
Yeah, well, at least it's the good kind of dating. But I want to just say that, wow, congratulations to everyone at Team Penske and in the Penske organization for doing this amazing thing that, gives us all something to look at and say it can be done.
Well, we've got a great organization. I have been part of it. Judy said 45 years. It's actually 52 years.
Wow.
That's when I had hair and Rogers was black. Right?
Yes.
So it's been a few years, but no, last year has to be one of the greatest in the history of our team, with all that was accomplished both on the IndyCar side as well as on the NASCAR Cup Series side.
Well, indeed, it's also a high watermark for the sport. There is no more visible team in the landscape of American motorsport than Team Penske. You're a symbol to the world of what American racing stands for. And now with Penske Entertainment owning the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the IndyCar series, right. You really are much more than a racing team. You are the core spirit of the sport, and competing at all levels, all top levels of the sport. So I want to talk about first the journey to this moment. My first year in the sport professionally was 1972. And my first day on the job was October 15th, 1972. And Team Penske, or Penske Racing as it was known then, scored a 1-2 and clinched a championship, a Can-Am championship on that day. So you had me from hello. How has this evolved to the point where you were able to do this? You came close a couple of times. Could you just tell us how many times you won multiple championships in a year? And how close you've come to doing this in the past?
Well, this is our 8th multiple championship year. But as you indicated, it's the first time that a team has won both the IndyCar championship and the NASCAR Cup Series championship in the same season. Now, we've won, I think there were 3 years where we won 3 championships. We won an IndyCar championship, NASCAR Xfinity championship, Australian Supercars championship, IMSA championship. So there's been a collection of all those, but this is the first time that anybody's done the 2 majors. So we've been at it a long time. And in fact, it's interesting, Paul, I wasn't even focused on it until we were going to Phoenix, and it dawned on me that, well, we'll clinch the championship in September, and gosh, if Joey wins this thing. So then I went back and found out that no one had ever done it before. So we were really more focused on winning that second championship in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Found that out afterward.
Well, I think that's the mentality of the team. You're there for race day and getting the result that day. You're in the moment. I've never seen a team more focused on being in the moment and achieving it, and more prepared to win than Team Penske. And you're there about that day, about that lap, about that race, whatever it might be. You're there to do that thing that day. And how does that, translate now that you've done this? You've got all these other programs coming, yet you want to go do this again. And I don't want to make it seem like there's another mountain to climb, but there is. Winning the Daytona 500, the Indy 500, these 2 championships, winning Le Mans, winning the IMSA championship, winning WEC. Can you do it?
Well, I suppose we can do it. It's going to be an awful high mountain to climb, as you described, but you touched on something, and someone asked me after Joey's win at Phoenix here 3 weeks ago, and it really applies to what Will and the team did on the IndyCar side. I described Phoenix, at least in my view, and I'm a little bit biased, I admit, but this was a classic Team Penske performance. We had a excellent preparation. Team executed according to plan. The pit stops were flawless, and we had a driver who was absolutely committed. If you go back to his first win of the season at the Clash at the Coliseum, I think that's where he started saying 22 and 22, and that sort of set the tone for everybody.
Yeah.
So But I can say the same thing about the way Joseph and Scotty and Will won on the IndyCar side. Classic Team Penske performance. We were prepared. We understood what we were getting into. We had the resource to do it, and then went ahead and had a good plan and executed. So thank you for saying that. But looking forward, gosh, when I look back again at this year, we started with the win at the Clash, as I said. Austin Cindric won the Daytona 500.
Yes.
Rookie of the Year. Scott McLaughlin comes back a couple of weeks later and wins at St. Petersburg.
Yes.
That really set the tone for the season. We had a few little ups and downs during the course of the year, but when all came to pass, it was quite an accomplishment. So again, as has been the case with Team Penske, we're very proud of our people. We're very proud of the team, the men and women in Mooresville. You know, the old cliche about back of the shop, well, it really is true. And we have more than 400 people there in Mooresville and suburban Charlotte, both on the IndyCar and NASCAR sides, working together to get this result. And they're already hard at it again for 2023 with one other program coming on board, and that's our new Porsche Penske Motorsports program, which will launch at the 24 Hours of Daytona here at the end of January.
Well, I will talk about that for a moment, and then I want to spend a little bit of time on the key players on the team that made this possible. But you've been engaged in this process to go, win the IMSA championship, the Rolex 24, the Sebring 12 hours, Petit Le Mans, the 24 hours of Le Mans, the WEC. You've been working on this now for nearly 2 years.
That's correct.
Yes. So I've got a feeling you're going to be prepared. You have a history with Porsche that's very successful.
And a great honor to be representing them when this opportunity presented itself.
Well, forgive me for saying it, but you're good together. I think it's a relationship that works, and both companies have a obsessive, relentless, almost OCD drive to perfection. And I'm very excited to see what's going to happen here. But you haven't won Le Mans yet as a team.
No.
What would that be?
Likes to say that's the last box to check.
That's quite a box, along with the Indianapolis 500. These are the two greatest races in the world.
Correct. And
what would that mean to the organization?
Well, I think in many ways it's a crowning achievement, certainly, to check all the boxes as indicated. But I think more importantly, I think it sends a message to our competitors that we are still going to compete at the highest level, do the best we can. But if we're successful, if we win Le Mans, if we have a good season in WEC and in IMSA, we're going to look at it like we're looking at it this year. It's a great accomplishment, a testimony to the people, the preparation, but we have to keep looking forward.
Yes, and we'll dwell on IMSA for a moment here and the WEC. I'm a sports car racing fan from the beginning, and I'm really excited to see what's coming in 2023 and 24. We're celebrating the centenary of Le Mans. This is 100 years of racing since that first race, and I think that this is, if there's one to win, this is the one. But sports car racing's core to the DNA of Team Penske. That's where the organization started. That's Roger Penske was a sports car racer, but he was young.
Yeah, that's right. We go back to those great days with the Can-Am and the Trans Am, and I don't have to tell our viewing audience, but that was really the foundation for the team, for sure.
It was, and you're back to your roots, basically. You've been in and out of sports car racing, but when you look at this, could you just describe briefly what the level of preparation was in getting ready for this? I think this is a window into the soul of Team Penske and the relationship with Porsche. What have you been doing to get ready?
Well, first of all, we have two operations, one based in Mooresville, North Carolina, the other in Germany. We have people in both locations. Before the car was even built or delivered, these conversations were ongoing from a technical standpoint. This is this is going to be the most technologically advanced car that we, Team Penske, have ever raced. And so that creates a whole new sense of challenge, as well as some difficulty. So last year in IMSA and 2 events in WEC was called a dress rehearsal for the team. Even though we didn't run a Porsche, but it was a dress rehearsal for the team, understanding the circuits, understanding the competition, how we were going to function, and then began testing the Porsche here several months ago, and that's ongoing as we prepare for the Rolex 24. So you're right, Paul. It's been a two-year ongoing process, and we've taken some good people from our North Carolina operation and migrated them over to Germany and vice versa, and so it's been a real joint effort, real collaboration between the 2 companies.
Yes, and that kind of magic between Porsche and the Penske organization is something I don't see very often. This collaborative energy between the 2 companies, and you've come together multiple times. I think this is, if my memory serves me, your 4th time on a project together, all of which achieved great success.
And remember, Paul, we have an extensive business relationship with Porsche and the retail auto side, both in the United States and in Western Europe. So they're a significant business partner of ours outside the motorsports realm.
Well, I think they're your soulmates when it comes to this sort of thing, and every time you work together, you set the bar and move the entire sport forward as to what's possible. So I'm very excited. To be the Rolex 24 is Christmas Day for me. I cannot wait to be there and see all of this competitive energy unleashed and see this race car perform. And
it's going to be exciting. I don't think I've anticipated a race like this one.
Same here. Knowing what's coming for the entire world of sports car racing in 2023 and 24, this is the golden age, and I hope it continues well beyond this. But this is a moment that we have waited for a very long time.
And I think kudos to Jim France, the people at IMSA, the people in Europe who worked together to build this tremendous series, this opportunity for sports car racing globally.
Agreed. We were once the agency for the American Le Mans Series, working with Scott Atherton and all of his efforts. And I know he, up until his retirement from the sport, he's a former Penske executive.
He sure is.
He worked tirelessly to get to this moment. My friend John Doonan, who's the president of IMSA, has worked tirelessly. Ed Bennett, Jim France, everyone at the ACO. It's magic time now for the world of sports car racing, and it really is a race to tomorrow, literally and figuratively a race to tomorrow, and that seems to be your wheelhouse. And this racing to tomorrow, if you will, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory of Racing is actually in Mooresville, North Carolina. That's the Penske organization. Can you tell me about the brilliant men and women who made this double championship season possible? Can you highlight a few of the key players?
It starts with, of course, Tim Cindric, who's our team president, who's, forgive me, my fall allergies are in full bloom here in Michigan today. So
I just hope you're not allergic to me.
Never, Paul. Not allergic to anything having to do with racing, that's for sure. But
I have nothing to do with editing, just ask the staff. So
but anyway, it starts with Tim Cindric. Tim's been with the organization more than 20 years.
Yep.
He's really the one that brought the organizations together. You'll recall that our IndyCar team was based in Reading, Pennsylvania, first in Newtown Square back in those days, 52 years ago, in a 6-car garage. Went to Reading, Pennsylvania, in a facility at our truck leasing headquarters, and then moved to Mooresville when we bought this facility about 17 years ago. 400,000 acres under 400,000 square feet, excuse me, under roof. It seems like 400,000 acres sometimes when you're walking through.
I thought that's really impressive. That's much bigger than I thought it was.
And 10 acres under roof. That's what I was thinking of. In any event, we had our NASCAR program in 3 different locations in Mooresville. Felt it was time to consolidate everything. And at the same time, moving the IndyCar program down to Mooresville made absolute sense because of the facility and the people. So Tim organized that. Don Miller you may recall Don, one of the key people in our NASCAR program until his retirement a few years back, was really key to putting that facility together. And so when we brought both teams together down there in the facility, we were able to cross-pollinate, between the two. So Tim Cindric gets full credit for the performance at the facility and on the racetrack for sure. On the NASCAR side, I think two key people in addition to our drivers and our crew chiefs. And one thing I like to talk about, we talk about a lot, is the continuity in our organization. We don't change the starting lineup very often, and that's really important. So Mike Nelson, who's our vice president of competition, been with the team over 20 years, graduate mechanical engineer from Clemson, and Travis Geisler, who really 10 years ago was a crew chief, was a race engineer, who went to Pitt, got his mechanical engineering degree, joined us, and we won our first NASCAR championship after moving Travis into that role of being able to put the manufacturing side and the competition side, getting them to work together as one single unit. Tim then was able to take the whole thing, bring it together. And so again, we cross-pollinate between the IndyCar, the NASCAR side, with people, with programs. So those are probably the three key people. Ron Rzuski on the IndyCar side, who runs the day-to-day operations there. This is a testimony to all of them. But I like to think about, when you ask that question, I like to think about people like Jeffrey Baker, who's been with us 25 years. People don't know who Jeffrey Baker is. Started with us as a tire changer back in 1997. Became a crew chief. Now oversees our facilities in Mooresville. Adele Goodman, been with us since 1996, was our merchandising person. She's still there today. Sasha Soares, who's our marketing person, one of our marketing people down there. So there are people like that. David Kenny, who was one of our original 15 when we started this iteration of the NASCAR program in 1991. Gary Brooks, they're still there. They're still working, still performing at the highest levels. So it's those people. I've left out so many, the Rick Reinemans of the world and the Clive Howells and the others whom, Paul, you may know and your audience.
I do.
But these are the people that are the heart and soul of the company. They really are. And their commitment, their work ethic has not changed at all. They are racers. They are racers.
Yeah, we have a saying here, and it's in our subscription ad here, is that there are two kinds of people, racers and everyone else.
That's correct. That's correct.
And racing to us is you're basically trying to learn faster and better than your competition, apply what you learn. And that's really what racing is, on track and off. And Penske organization has done that from the first moment I saw that. They moved the sport forward to a new era.
And
when I look at what you've also done, you've given drivers a chance.
Yeah, right. Of course, Roger has the vision. He has the drive. He sets the standard. He understands the sport. He understands the business side of it. In your reference to Penske Entertainment, the purchase of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, he understands the business side. But without his leadership and his guidance and his willingness, by the way, Roger's a great delegator. He lets the Tim Cindrics and the Travis Geislers and the Mike Nelsons and the Ron Rzuskis do what they do best. He doesn't drive the car for Will Power or Joey Logano. He views himself as a resource, as I do. That's the way we're viewed, as resources to help those people do their jobs better. But without his vision, without his commitment, without his loyalty to the sport and all the people in the sport, not just our team, all the people in the sport, I don't think we'd have the success that we do.
That's true. And you have a history of long relationships with your drivers. And that's something that's very refreshing to see. It's not a revolving door.
To that very point, on the NASCAR side, Paul, we just re-upped Joey Logano for several more years. He's been with us 11 years. Ryan Blaney for several more years. Bringing Scott McLaughlin along. Scott, I mean, what a great story that is.
Yes, it is.
I'll get me started on Scotty, but I mean, he's going to win a championship in my view, as is Ryan Blaney. But we want those people to be with us for a long, long time. And so we're taking those steps to ensure that that's the case. Austin Cindric, great first year. He's got all the potential to do what his peers have done, for sure.
He sure does. And I remember beating Austin when he was racing in one of the IMSA development series and
right.
being very impressed with him.
Yeah.
But one of the people I was most impressed with during his journey in North American racing is Will Power. Not only is he among the very fastest drivers to have raced in the NTT IndyCar series, he's the most exciting to watch sometimes. And we saw a different Will Power this year.
We did. In fact, I was just getting ready to mention Will with those other drivers. When you look at the IndyCar, the NTT IndyCar series season this year, Team Penske won 9 races.
Yes.
Joseph Newgarden won 5. Scott won 3. Will won 1 race. But he was the champion. He also had 5 poles. But his consistency, his commitment, again, he's a racer. He doesn't quit. And if you look at his 1 win, I mean, it told the whole story. He won at the Belle Isle race here in Detroit. And he and the team said, we're going to give it all we've got. They had some issues earlier in the race, came back, stayed out, took a risk. I'm not sure if that race was 3 more laps that he'd have won the race.
Yeah.
But he won the race. And to me, that was a signal event for the whole season for the team. So
What we saw was discipline this year. It wasn't. It was really a disciplined, measured performance. It was a really quite a remarkable transformation. I do believe after seeing this, there's another championship or 2 in Will Power.
No question.
He certainly has the speed to win 5 or 6 races in a season.
He does. He didn't get
these very quick
breaks along the way, but he did what he had to do and won the championship. That's the bottom line.
And congratulations to him and to Joey. I had a feeling when Joey came out of the gate strong at the Coliseum that everybody else was going to be in for trouble. He's a special racer as well.
Joey and Will have one thing in common. When they put the helmets on, they become different people.
Yeah.
I mean, they are so, use this word, focused, so intense. They have one job to do and they do it. And I see that in Will. All you have to do is look in his eyes. And the same with Logano. I'm not saying other drivers don't compete, don't have desire, aren't intense, but there's just a special element on the part of both of these men that really came to the fore this past year.
And that touches back to something I think we could close out our discussion with today, is that Roger Penske is a racer. He was an accomplished racing driver.
Sure.
And I don't think that's ever left his soul and spirit. He is still that person inside, and he sees the world through that lens when he needs to. How has that shaped the team and the business?
Excuse me for interrupting. You're right. It's the lens through which he looks at our business, because we're in competition every day. In our auto dealerships, our transportation company, in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, in fact, presenting an entertainment medium. So it's a competition every day. Every day is brand new. In the car business, you're a winner or a loser at the end of the month. We want to be a winner. One of the reasons we're involved in racing, professional racing, is really for the benefit of the 70,000 global employees in Penske Corporation. It's the one thing that they have in common. So it's important that we perform on the racetrack. It's important that we also perform in the business world. So the two are intertwined.
It certainly looks that way, and that that being in the moment and sizing up what's necessary to win that day is a hallmark of the Penske organization too, because you can prepare all you want, but when you're in the arena and doing battle, things change. And the ability to pivot, understand what your options are, find a path to victory and success is one of the things this team has done continually through the eras that I've been privileged to witness. And also, I must say, for the most part, in business, you lose sometimes, but I got to tell you,
We do.
the Penske brand is synonymous with winning front to back and everything it does.
And people sharing that culture, people in the organization, both on the business side and the racing side, sharing that culture. I like to say, look, some people can come to work at our company. They may not be comfortable in this culture. And I understand that. We get it. They may want to move someplace else. But those who not only buy into the culture, but share the culture, go on to be very successful.
Yes, and I think your company's influence on the sport, you've been central to the sport moving into the more commercial, consumer-friendly age that we find racing in now. It's more accessible. It's not as niche as it once was, because it's more presentable. And Penske led the way to that and opening the door to new sponsor categories and just a different level of respect for the sport itself and mainstream media, everything. It really, I think, largely has been shaped by Roger Penske's involvement in the sport. When we look at what we've got about to happen in 2023, what is your hope? You've been with this organization for 52 years. What is your fondest hope for this organization as you go to battle in 23?
Keep attracting good people, but the good people who are part of our company stay with us, that we all are in agreement on what our goals are, both in business and on the racetrack. But it's always looking to the future. It's always looking ahead and being prepared to anticipate those unforeseen things that you mentioned, but being prepared. Roger likes to say that in our business and true on our race team, the person working next to me is my customer. I have to treat that person like my customer, and he or she has to treat me the same way.
Yes.
So maintaining that culture and going forward, the rest will take care of itself. Look, we realize we'll go to Daytona at the end of January, and there'll be 50 or 75 transporters there. We'll go to Daytona and 40 other cars will show up. No one's going to be intimidated because we're there, but that just makes us go a little bit higher, a little bit better.
Yeah, but they know who they have to beat, which is pretty much the way it's been my entire time in this sport. So thank you very much.
You're welcome
For being with us, Walt.
Great
Congratulations
to
to
you all.
you and everyone.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you all and have a great week.
Registering on EPARTRADE is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to EPARTRADE.